Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm so glad you're here this morning joining us in our show. We appreciate the viewership. Let's get started with our weather brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. That's Drew Pollard and hardworking crew up there in Southport. We're looking at a high today of 85, low 72. Water temperature is going up another degree, up to 83 degrees. So it's looking good. Later on in the show, I'm going to talk about what kind of effect that's having on different species moving around. Our river reading is brought to us by Mountain Dew. On the outdoors with Mountain Dew. We're looking at the Apalachicola Bluntstown 4.6. Now, when it gets under 5, it's starting to get low now. And matching it, the Choctawhatchee at Caryville, 4.7. Both of them have a little bit of a drop to them. We need some rain. It's dry out there. You just look at it. You don't have to look at the pass. Just go right around today and look out there at some of the yards and some of the palm trees and pine trees and all this. You can see it's dry. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Looking at a high this morning exactly at 8 o'clock. A low at 6:40, and today is Tuesday the 6th, and like I said yesterday, good strong tides all week long. And we're looking at the wind now becoming south-southeast at 14, so keeping up that pretty strong. But I tell you what, I've enjoyed those breezes. I don't know if you have, but I sure have enjoyed the breezes, and it's been nice. We're looking at well, let's go and take a break. I've got 2 or 3 things to bring up, but let's take a break now and be right back. Okay, welcome back. Red snapper. We just got to stop and talk about red snapper a minute because it's been good, and I want to share. And the reason we get excited about it, a lot of folks been here a long time. And I'm one of them. We still get excited about catching red snapper. But I want to try to give you a little bit of history on it as why it's so important as part of our Panhandle heritage here, especially Panama City, Pensacola, and the Apalachicola. Way back in the early days, I knew about it a little bit, but I really in-depth found out about it in those 3 years I was working on the book. And here's one of I looked through the newspaper. I want to show you this first picture here because we're going to look at the price of it. This is 1930. This is actually 1928, I believe. But anyway, snapper per pound. This is at the City Fish Market, which is now Tarpon Dock. Look at that bottom line, Tarpon Dock. Snapper is 15 cents a pound, but now love mullet too. Mullet was 10 cents a pound. So it was fish is okay. Look at that right there. Fish is a splendid nerve builder. Eat fish and be healthy. We've always talked about the health of that. So anyway, that's one thing about it. And then another thing. This is a picture of the fish market. The Bay Fisheries. The first one where they started bringing it in. I don't want you to read the whole thing, but I just want to show you where they unloaded it down here at the end. This is down here in St. Andrews. But anyway, look here, in 1917, December 19th, 1917, the Martha Lillian unloaded 15,000 pounds of snapper and grouper, and Ann and Jenny unloaded 13,000 pounds. And they worked at 3 a.m. Now, that was a Weller family there in St. Andrews, but that goes to show you how much was being brought in. Can you imagine? We went on this trip. I'm going to talk about our trip later. And I think we brought in a little bit over 300 pounds, and that was like 10 people fishing. We all excited about it. And what about 15,000 pounds? So you can see, and it was the color and what brought the people. I talked to the captains like Richard Holland and all them back in during the heyday of in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and when St. Andrew was just hopping and Anderson's fleet was out there too, and just headboats, and you've seen the pictures. And he would tell me about, coming down from Birmingham and Montgomery and Atlanta. Those folks just wanted to catch some red snapper, and that's what they wanted to catch. And we've always talked about the groupers always taking a back seat to it. So I thought long and hard about what fish I was going to put on the cover of the book. I thought long and hard every time, red snapper, red snapper. So that's why I put that on the cover. So right here on the cover, you see it right there. That's why I put that fish. And that's one that brought the excitement to the folks. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and pictures all over the weekend, and there were all kind of pictures. I could sit here for the rest of the show and show you pictures of red snapper catches. I just picked out a handful of them because Well, because they're special, this handful. I know a lot of these folks here. We're going to start off with a little kid catching a snapper. And this kid, Jim Lloyd and Brooke Moulton Lloyd, and their little girl, look at the look on her face. Does that not just give you the whole thing? Look there. Is she happy? And look how close they are to shore. Okay, and Jim Lloyd, he's our Chief Financial Officer at Bay District Schools. Brooke Lloyd, his wife, is special to me. She's a principal at Petronas, and they love the outdoors. And Brooke, the reason she's real special, she's a sweetheart of a lady, but she actually was one of the proofreaders when I was doing the book. She was working at Mosley in guidance, and I would bring stuff to her, and she would proofread it. So she had part to do with the book, too. So I'm glad. They're originally from South Georgia up there, and they love, you see what they do, they love fishing down here. So Jim and Brooke, good job. Let's move on. I'll be on this all day. Speaking of a fellow here, Tim Kahneman was on our first football teams at Mosley. Tim was a fine football player, a really good football player, the Kahneman family. And here, look at the seas. Y'all see the water behind it? That was the key to the weekend. Saturday, when we went out, it was just like that. Good job, Tim Kahneman. I know he watched this show. And how about Lynn Haven Police Chief, Ricky Ramey and his son? They had a good, Ricky and his son Ricky, they had a great trip and all. Good to see them fishing together. And they enjoyed the outdoors. Good job there. And here's one, Amanda Moses. She got 2 snapper, and I got a limit there. Good. And Amanda, we used to be in my class, and the little girl smiling. Good job, Amanda. How about Christian Oftencamp over there at listen, this boat picture right here is one of the unique ones. I love the way they set this up. Look at everything set up like that. Did they not have a good trip? Good job, Christian. And then we got Chris Kramer. I got to get Chris. I love to see these businessmen going out catching fish. Chris, I think, fished Friday and Saturday. He may fish Sunday, but they had, this is right here in the backyard. And Chris is a good fisherman. Kramer Chevrolet. And okay, well, we're going to save the best for last. We're coming in the past. That's why it's rough behind us. And Billy Archer, we had a full box. I mean, they're packed in there. And there's our crew. Some good times were had by all. And this was our catch. And it was a wonderful, wonderful trip, and we were just so excited. And it just couldn't, I sort of, okay, here, okay. Let's look at, I want to show you this. Okay, that was my share. So I'm getting them clean over here. Y'all see right there, 32, well, right, it's 32.8. Let's say 33 pounds, 33 pounds. That was my share, okay? Now, with that being said, that was a lot of snapper. I was talking to Jeff before the show came on the air, and we're talking about a trip. It was almost a perfect trip, and I hate to have a perfect trip because you don't have everything to look forward to next time. But again, there was no waves, the sun never came out, and the fish we caught, you saw, were like this, and it was just a really special trip. So anyway, let's take a break, and we're going to come right back. Okay, now I'm gonna bring this up now because we got to get this settled. You know, the cost of a trip, as you know, you're going to catch enough fish to pay for the cost. You know, we never, the outdoorsmen don't really ever look at it that way, and I never have looked at it that way. I really haven't. I just go on a fishing trip just to enjoy fishing. But I got to thinking about this, and I started doodling last night. So here's hanging it with me. Okay, so here we go. The snapper trip cost around $300 a person. There were 10 of us. And it's about $3,000, and you know that's tip, you know, do that kind of stuff. So let's say we're gonna round off $300. Okay, now, but you saw where I weighed in 33 pounds. Now, if you go to a seafood market, it's going to cost $16.95 a pound. That's a cheap, anyway, what somebody told me. So I multiplied 33 pounds times $16.95. Look at that bottom line. I brought in $559.35 worth of snapper. So boy, you're talking about justifying a trip. Wow. And then what if I got 33 pounds, okay, that's 11 meals at 3 pounds. 3 pounds of snapper is a lot. Gail and I can't eat that many, but we sort of eat leftovers and I make tacos and that kind of stuff. So you get 11 meals at 3 pounds. So if I 33 pounds, 33 pounds equals 11 meals at a fancy restaurant, it'd be $62 roughly and that's $2, that's for the 2 of us and a tip. If I did multiply that times 11 trips, that's $682 worth. So y'all see why it pays to go snapper fishing, okay? All right, I got some other pictures. Let's jump from fishing. Let's jump back on land. And this picture here, talking about a brave. This is one of our judges now. This is my buddy Shane Van, his sweet and beautiful wife Suzanne. They're good friends of ours. They call this Alabama Note Rope. And look at Shane. Now their farm, and I've showed you buck pictures and all. They're north of Mobile in South Alabama. They're from L.A. in Lower Alabama. And Shane goes up there during off season, gets everything ready. Okay, look at there. I counted, I think, 10 or 11 rattlers on this. You would think our judges would know better than do something like that. But don't you love to see outdoorsmen, a judge outdoorsman? Okay, here we go. Talking about good buddies up there in Prosperity coming down here. And we stuck a few there. Jeff Carroll and Scott Carroll, they're just starting back, just starting back on his first. Remember I said the other day on Friday, it's time to start flounder gigging. And old Jeff is pretty doggone good at it. And I see it right there. That's his fish camp down in Howard Creek. I can tell where it's at right there. So he didn't gig him at the fish camp. All right, here we go. I want to congratulate Fred Myers and partner Britt. They got second place in this huge tournament out in Louisiana. It was a big tournament. It was a 2-day. Listen, read this. The first day was beautiful. It went pretty much like we planned it. But the second day, they were going to make a 140-mile run one way. So the weather wouldn't allow them to do it. So they stayed in close, and they fished. And they ended up in second place, and they congratulated the first place team, a father and son combination. So that was the Power Pole Redfish Tour Championship. Okay, and here they are. There's Fred and his wife and 2 kids, and there's Britt and his wife, and they just had a great time out there. These two, if he gets second place in the championship out in Louisiana, that's really, really, really good. So congratulations, Fred. And look at how they celebrated. This is how you do a crawfish boil. Look at that, in a little pirogue out there in Louisiana. I think they've done this before. I just thought that was cool. A couple more pictures. Let's go to freshwater. Randy Beavis, owner of JR's Barbecue over there in Parker. My oldest son, Hunter, drove an hour and a half to make a short afternoon trip with his pops. Had a great trip. I'm proud of the man he's become, and boy, he can throw a fly. Great memory. So anyway, they love to fly fish. Randy's always fly fish. He showed us a picture last week of his mom. I wrote back. I don't know if I left it in here. I wrote back there. Okay. Randy went fishing with his mom last week, and his mom outfished him. Then he went fishing with his son. His son outfished him. So when y'all go over there and see Randy, tell him he's got to take some fishing lessons from his mom and the son. Okay, let's jump out again now. We've got so much to talk about today. You know, we've talked about the pythons, how big the pythons are, and we've talked about it for years, how trying to get rid of pythons because they're all over the Everglades. They're not a native species in America, but they got let go, and they just thrive in the Everglades. And we've had for I don't know how many years now, 7, 8, maybe 10 years, they've tried to control them with a python hunt. And you've seen the pictures I've shown. We'd see the pictures, and they'd send them in to us, or not to us. I'd pick them up offline or something. And the pythons were huge, but they were catching them. And you think, well, in a year or two, they're going to get all of them. Nope, they're still a problem. So here comes. This is funny. Here comes the governor. The governor steps in. Governor DeSantis. Here he is. He's talking about he's going to make they're making a big effort now. He's supporting it from Tallahassee. On the bottom line down there, the python removal competition begins at 8 o'clock July the 9th and ends at 5 o'clock July the 18th. And they're really upping the prizes. Look at there, that's why they're ugly, but the thing about it gets so big and eat so much. Here, FWC is behind it big time. And they've got all kind of, in fact, look at this picture here. They had this at a press conference. I thought it was cool to get a governor down there at the Everglades. Now I know I'm going to ask Gail if she'll give me permission to run down there and try to catch some of these. These will be, she'll say, well, the insurance policy paid up, we will. But anyway, you see how big they are. So a python challenge, and so you can register, and they're the prizes, and they're really, really nice prizes. Okay, so anyway, we want to take care of the python. Let's go ahead, and I've got a lot more to talk about. We're at a breaking point now. Let's go and take our final break, and we'll come back with some more cool stuff. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fishing game time brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. They got everything you need for your outdoor needs. We're looking at 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. this morning. I don't know if y'all were up, but I wasn't. How about tonight, 10:21 to 12:21? I don't know if you're going to be up, but I'm not. But those are 2 times a day. Okay, now, with June is all kind of cool things going on, and this one's about to sneak up on us because it's happening this weekend. It is a Gorewhopper Tournament down in Mexico Beach or Port St. Joe. Here it is. They have it every year, and you see the division: the king mackerel, kid snapper, kids grouper over the right-hand side, a red snapper. How big was that red snapper last year? 25 pounds. And then the king mackerel was 36 pounds. That's a pretty good size right there. And so anyway, they have kids doing it, the Gorewhopper Tournament. And you register, let's see, here it is right here. Here's a Gorewhopper Tournament. Let's see, it's going to be at the Mexico Beach boat ramp, and tickets, just go look up Gorewhopper Classic, and they'll get you tickets and all if you want to buy some or enter and everything. Anyway, it's going to be a good tournament, so looking forward to that. Also, I want to bring in, let's see, a couple other things to bring in. We're talking about crabs, but Tarpon Dock having a sale on blue crabs. This is crabbing. We're talking about Friday on the show. Crabbing is good this time. You're just starting them out for $3.50 a pound, folks. That's really good. And that's crab, some good food right there. So run down there and get some crabs. Now listen, we're talking about one of the fun things to do is going crabbing, and of course, you know, there always you can. Let's see. I want to show you. This is female egg, female bearing with eggs on it, right there at the bottom. See those eggs right there? So you want to throw those crabs back, of course. It's not illegal to keep them anymore. They've finally made a law not to keep them, but on female crabs, you certainly don't want to, if they have eggs. Now you can keep females, but if I can tell it's a female, I always throw them back because male can breed more than one time, but a female can only do it one time during the season. So always, you know, take care of the female in every species, with does and all. But anyway, I want to talk about the season now. It started last month, May 15th through October the 15th. That's the season to go crabbing. I wrote down a couple of notes, but one of the first things I always talk about was water temperature. It affects all kind of things. We talk about, you know, 68 degrees for the Spanish to start coming in. Well, crabs really start moving around when the water temperature gets around 80 and stays around 80 for a week or two, to steady temperature there. And if you look on our water temperature chart, it is exactly what has happened the last couple of weeks. It's been around 80 degrees. In fact, I meant to look it up. I'll go back to, all the way back to into May. On May 21st is 78. And it started going up right there on May 25th is when the water temperature started getting close to 80 at 79. So anyway, nature does that every year. So the water temperature is good, and it's going to be steady. That's why the crabs are moving around and all. Also, the limit is a pretty liberal limit, 10 gallons. That's 2 5-gallon buckets full per person. Now, I wouldn't, if you're not going to eat them, all of them right away, that's something you don't want to freeze unless you just have to. But just get as many as you want to eat for you and your family and friends and enjoy it. And like I say, there are all kinds of ways to do it. But I wrote down I was thinking last night, putting a show together, some good locations. So I'm going to give you a couple of top locations to go crabbing. This is one of the Panhandle Outdoors top 3 locations. Now, if you're going with a net, so I'm going to top 3. Number 1, Mexico Beach is good for various reasons. Number 1, there's not a lot of people there at night. So you can walk along. Like I said, I was over in the bar during Memorial Day, and we saw 6 different people from looking down, 6 different people crabbing where we could just see. So Mexico Beach is a good place to go. It's isolated sort of compared to other places. So that's one place. Second place, I wrote down St. George Island, especially on the bay side. If you get on the bay side and do a little bit, this is sort of wading and all with a net. So it's going to be a little muddy at some spots, but you get some spots where it's not muddy. St. George, Apalachicola Bay on the inside of St. George Island. The third place, the west end of Panama City. Again, on the west end, it's pretty isolated there. Getting close to Phillips Inlet area, if it's open in that area, good place to go. Now, okay, now if you want to go by boat, the top 3 places by boat, I wrote down number one, intercoastal. Now you got to be, intercoastal sort of drops off like that, intercoastal waterway, but there's some spots where it sort of comes in like that, and especially as it gets close to the mouth of the bay system, and then down there in St. Joe where it comes out into the bay, that little canal there. So that's a couple of good places by boat. Number two, I wrote down Choctawhatchee Bay. Choctawhatchee Bay has a good population of crabs. It's sort of well-kept secret. In fact, Crab Island is named after, originally that's where the crabbers would go. You can't get there now with all the party boats on it, but I mean, not party boats, but all the boats partying there. And it's but Crab Island, if really seriously at nighttime, if you can get out there on the edges, some people spend the night out there, there won't be a lot of people. So Crab Island is named for crabbing out there. So anywhere where that Destin Pass comes through, Choctawhatchee Bay area is really good. And so the Destin, again, the Destin area is good. So, all right, now I've got all kinds of other things to talk about. I'm gonna run out of time. I put a little side note here where I was looking at, researching, talking about the flow of nature and how everything happens in seasons and all. And I was looking for the red snapper and how, this time of year, they're catching them all. And I was looking at all the fish catches, catching 5,000 pounds here, 4,000 pounds here. I happened to run across October newspaper, and they had all the catches coming in. October, full of mackerel. And I wrote it down. Captain Kane, the Kane family who settled over there in Phillips Inlet, had a fishing place out there, one of the first net fishermen there. In 1920, October 1920, he brought in 5,000 pounds of king mackerel. One man, 5,000 pounds to the fish market and weighed it in. That was some glorious days for the fishermen and all in those days. So I just wanted to share that with you. We got to wrap it up. Had a good show. Enjoyed doing it by myself. I enjoyed doing it by myself. I enjoyed doing it with other people. So hope you've learned something today and had enjoyed those pictures. And we got a video coming up soon. I want it. Gail has had cataract surgery, so she's not able to do any editing. So our video is going to be running a little bit late on my brim trip and my red snapper trip, but we'll get them in soon. You have a great day today. Do something good for your fellow man. Enjoy the outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.